Evening, Gasheads. Welcome back to another live. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Talking Gas podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Appreciate everyone that's tuning in right now on the live. Don't forget to leave your questions, any thoughts. Do let us know. Of course, we're going to be going over Tuesday's 3-0 home win against Port Vale. Of course, discussing the injuries that have been piling up. And, of course, getting into the Oxford game. Don't forget, obviously, midday game as well. Probably our toughest game of the season so far. You know, they've only lost 2 out of the first 10 and are on very, very good form. But if you're watching back on the replay, don't forget to leave your score predictions. And of course, don't forget to leave a like, everyone. Appreciate the amazing support. Continued support has been amazing. So do hit the like button. If you can get 50 likes again, that would be quality. Don't forget to subscribe as well. We're only 47 away from 6,500. So make us get there as soon as possible. That would be class. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Don't forget as well, in the banner that is scrolling down as well, there is one code. If you haven't already, do join the Fan Hub. There is the code right on the screen now. Do join that if you haven't already. But yeah, appreciate the continued support. Hit the like button. And yeah, we're joined by Neil, as always. How's it going, Neil? How you been?
Yeah, mate, I'm good. What's happening? You good?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, all good, especially after, bouncing back, obviously, on Tuesday, even into Kieran West and even into Elliot Davis. Appreciate you getting in the comments. But, before we get into the game, I want to get your thoughts on their injury situation, because it's starting to mount up. There was only, Barton said about it in his interview after the game, there was only 6 subs. That's the first time he's not been able to, fill a full bench, with obviously the news that Marquis is apparently broke his hand, but I didn't realize that could be, 5 to 6 weeks with a broken hand. And then you obviously got Thomas with the hamstring injury. That's about 2 months, maybe even longer, depending on how bad it is. Then you've obviously got Kramer, you've got Wilson, you've got Ward. Starting to mount up. What do you make of the situation at the moment?
I don't pay much attention to it, to be honest. I think it's all par for the course. The squad's been built because, these things come along. We spoke about it, before the first game of the season. We're going to get injuries, suspensions, these things are going to happen. So it's just par for the course. You never ever got a squad where everyone's fully fit at some point. Most of these lads are playing with knocks and niggles as it is. No one really goes out there 100% firing. They're always carrying something here and there. But as far as the injury list, I just think, like I said, just par for the course. I expect if you go and speak to any other League One or EFL fan, they'd be saying the same. I don't think our squad's much different to any others regarding injuries. It's just the fact that ours has been built to be stacked and we've got enough cover in certain areas to be able to deal with it. There'll be certain clubs in this division that you speak to them and go, do you know what? We are on the bones of our arse here and struggling already with like 9-10 games in.
Yeah, because it is pretty mad. We've got, I think it's 7, because obviously I forgot, obviously Friend as well. He's out injured. But yeah, I'm not sure when play. Obviously, you got the long-term roster. I doubt we'll see him this season, to be honest with you. Even into Yambi Sims as well. What did I miss? Where's the beard's gone? Yeah, I shaved, and Neil shaved as well. Is Evans injured? Well, I seen him. I was on the radio after the game, and I stayed a bit to do my reaction after the game, and I seen him, and he was walking okay. So hopefully he should be all right. And obviously Finley, hopefully he'll be back for Saturday. Even into Rob as well. Yeah, great win Tuesday, brilliant atmosphere. Even into Ben as always. Evans is not injured. Broken nose can wear a face mask. He'll be fine. And even into Gordo as well. But yeah, obviously getting in, when you've seen the lineup, what did you obviously make? Maka coming back in. We talked about the injuries. Martin making his first start. Yeah, what did you make when you seen, and obviously what was your first thoughts on the first half performance as well?
On the lineup, I was amazed. I was amazed to see Josh Grant start 2 games in a week. Didn't think he had it in him. Like, he must have looked after himself. I know centre half's completely different, as far as what your body goes through, as far as, running in distance, etc., to full back or playing in the middle of the park. But Martin starting, never saw that. I never thought he'd be in with a shout of starting, let alone getting through 85 minutes work. So I was surprised at those two. As far as the first half goes, spoke about it after the Peterborough game. Said we got to make early pressure count when we start building this early pressure with our ball retention and start prizing our way and feeling sides out in the final third. We've got to start making early pressure count, and thankfully we did do. We're a different side when we go 1-0 up, a completely different side. When we go 1-0 up, we're really, really difficult to play against with our ball retention. Going down to 10 is just absolutely killed him, because that's the best we've played against 10 in a long time. I think we exaggerated the horseshoe of a back four. We stretched them even more, made them chase even more, and I think it was a good half of football, well played. Spoke about Macca, early doors in the season, saying I said you probably wouldn't see the best of him till sort of Christmas. And I think this is what he's building into now. Such a strong runner, stretches sides, always makes the box. He's a threat all the time when we've got the ball, and he looks really good at the minute. Macca looks really good, and I think the sub of bringing him off when they did was, Oxford in mind, because I think he's tailor-made for a side like Oxford, because we're going to need him, to get about the pitch, cause problems on and off the ball. So I think he was brought off with a start in mind for Oxford. But as the first half goes, I thought played it really well. Really sensible performance coming off the back of an hard game at Peterborough. A lot of players out there that played on the Saturday. And then when we went down to 10, I thought we were really smart with how we moved the ball, played it. And like I said, it was the best sort of it's the best performance against 10 men I've seen it for us in a long time, as far as being well structured, moving it, keeping it away from him and making him chase. And like going into the second half with Oxford in mind, I thought we didn't expend anything we didn't have to energy wise.
Yeah, I agree. Gordo saying Martin is going to be a handful when fully fit. Yeah, we'll get on to more of him as well, even into Alicia as well. And yeah, Ben saying the same thing about Chris Martin. But yeah, like you said, it was I think it started off pretty end to end. We heard from Scott, the Port Vale fan we had on the game before, about their new style, and I thought they did look good coming forward. But yeah, very end to end. With a lot of their manager Crosby after the game saying dominating. I wouldn't, it was end to end. Wouldn't dominate, and we look good going forward. They look good going forward. They tried stretching us. They tried, putting sort of doubling up on the right hand side against Vale, because he's not obviously a recognised left back. But even then, I thought he still done well. There was a bit too much space in the midfield. For me personally, in the first half, where they were just getting through us a little bit easy. But then on the other hand, we went, when we went forward, we looked really good. Collins had that chance, first of all, with the great ball from Macca. And then, like you said, we sort of weathered it, got the goal to go ahead, like you said, and like all Gas says pretty much. When we get the first goal, we usually win and rarely lose. And yeah, obviously a good ball from Giovanni Brown, Macca getting on the score sheet, and it's good to see now. I think there's about 6 or 7 players now on 2 goals each. You got Collins, Marquis, Thomas, Macca. There's even more as well, and that's also a good thing. We haven't just relied on last season where it was pretty much Collins we relied on heavily, but now we've got everyone else getting involved, which I like. And obviously Hunt, Hunt's played 6 games now. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists. He's looked really impressive. Alicia saying the same thing, and like you said, and it's about time. I said, after as well, it's about time we beat 10 men and done well against 10 men, because how many times in the past have we struggled? I can't remember until Tuesday, I can't remember the last time we actually done really well and won a game against 10 men. We've usually struggled, but we moved it, quick. Like you said as well, I think it was good that, the fact that even though it was second half was a bit boring and frustrating, people probably wanted to say, go and get 4 or 5. But like you said, with the injuries we got, and you know, like you said, with a lot of players playing again, because like we said before, you know, we went with quite a few changes as well, you know, both of us. But yeah, for them to pretty much play, you know, a lot of the game, you know, the only two attacking subs on the bench were Sinclair and Evans. But yeah,
But that's the beauty of having senior pros. You know, the game is there to be lost. Then, like, we're 2-0 up. It's all ours to lose. So you've got to have one eye on what's coming up, which is obviously Oxford. So you look at someone like Chris Martin, who's not kicked a ball in God knows how long. Didn't do anything he didn't have to do. Played straight between the posts. Didn't chase fullbacks. Didn't run channels. Just did everything he had to do and didn't expend any more energy than he needed to. And he managed to get himself through 85 minutes purely through being smart and managing his minutes and his football IQ with his back to goal. And then you've got players like, you know, himself, Hunt, you know, Woods, who can manage those games through and talk to, and a bit like, you know, keep going back to when we had Coots, talk kids through how we manage that game out with Saturday in mind. And you could have been really naive then and gone, do you know what, we'll go foot on the throat, L for leather, and put these to the sword and try and get 4 or 5. But then you'd have done your nuts for Saturday. Do you know what I mean? We were smart. The biggest compliment I can give Rovers in that second half is we made it boring. It was a keep ball exercise, got us through, get off, get recovered, get into Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, to be honest. Yeah, Woods, impressive too, says Licia. Even into Simon Bracey, Giovanni Brown is a proper player, got to start games. Yeah, it's because, you know, like I said as well in the after, it's sort of been hard for him because obviously he didn't play from January onwards last season. So even though he had the preseason and he looked really good, he scored a few goals. It's different, you know, coming into the league and when Thomas, you know, started the season really well. And obviously Giovanni Brown did start the season, don't forget, in that sort of 10 role or, you know, false 9 behind Marquis, but then he got the injury away at Ipswich. He missed a few games, so he's had a bit of a stop-start sort of 6-7 months really. But yeah, you know, we seen it that opening day. We seen it. He done really well off the bench on Saturday against Port Vale. Hit the post, was unlucky, and yeah, you know, got a great assist. And yeah, you know, the goal. Yeah, what was your thoughts, Neil, on that finish from Giovanni Brown? It's just good to see him get off the mark in it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a massive passage of play before that kept Port Vale running and chasing, and by the time it got to sort of Brown in that hole, they looked dead on their feet chasing him, to be honest. But it's like, I don't want to take any shine off of it, but Ripley's got to save that, isn't he?
Well, I don't know. I think it's just the way he's hit it. It's sort of he's probably expecting it to go in the other corner, and if you've seen it, it bent around. So he did try and obviously get it up, but it did bend around. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just.
Look, I ain't taking nothing away from it. It's a great goal. Do you know what I mean? And that one opens his account. It's a decent goal to go on. If that's 0-0, if you're Port Vale, you're thinking that can't be going in, can it? But like I said, I'll take it.
Yeah. Even to Orange Joker as well. Ben saying Macca, Marquis, Evans, Hunt, Thomas, Collins, all on 2 already. Good to see you that we have goals. Yes, that's what I mean. Getting all. That's what I mean. I think that's a good thing. Yeah, it was a bit frustrating really for Collins because first half I thought he was excellent. You know, hit that free kick as well, which was a good save. Looked really sharp, creative, dropping in the holes, giving space to sort of Giovanni Brown and Macca to run in behind as well. And yeah, he obviously missed that chance as well, didn't he? Where he was thrown goal, you know, didn't even hit the target. But yeah, overall, I thought he was really good. You know, could have had 3 goals in the last 2 games, but you know, the fact that he's getting into positions and playing really well. Obviously, it was a great ball, wasn't it? That ball for Hunt won it 0 and yeah. What was your thoughts on that goal?
I've got, as far as Collins goes, I've never had any issues with him. Never had no concerns over him. Like he's decent. Do you know what I mean? If every player is going to have a patch where he's not at the level that is his maximum, and that's just how it's been like recently. And ultimately, like you talk about last season, he was our talisman and he was the guy getting our goals. Well, now that reliance isn't so heavy on him. So he can do, other parts of his game. He can go in, run channels, Harry fullbacks, go on the outside of people and lay off for others. So Hazard doesn't need to have that on his shoulders that he did last season, because we've got so much up top now as how heavy we are in that squad. I've never had any concerns over Collins. There's some daft calls, first 3 or 4 games regarding him, but he's always going to come good, isn't he? The goal itself, that just shows what Hunt's about. Do you know what I mean? He's made that finish look really easy. It's a great finish. That could have gone that could have gone so wrong. Could have gone so wrong but he's taken it great. But that's what he gives us. That's what our fullbacks are like at the minute. They're frightening when we've got the ball and we're going forward. They're just a constant threat, aren't they? We're not the finished article by a long way, Rovers. There are elements that we are, still trying to piece together and improve and get better at. But I just think we've had a few spells where we haven't created great chances. But the long and short of it is, we over the course of a 46 game season, we are going to create apples of chances, and there are going to be goals from all over the pitch. It's just other elements of our game that we need to improve on, tighten up on, and just make that little bit better. But we're 10 games, we 9-10 games in. We're not even into it yet. We're not even into it. We're still feeling our way into it. Talk about a lot of sides that are flying at the minute and doing really well, and they look well oiled and measured. They could fall away in the next 4 or 5 games. It all depends on when you have your purple patch, doesn't it? I'd rather have it in the last 10 games, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Yeah, Lofty was injured. Yeah, we talked about it in the last episode. Tom Butler saying Taylor is a man mountain, and he's one that we can't afford. Yeah, hopefully not. But he's our only fit actual centre back. Although Grant's playing there, and he's fair play to Grant as well. He's looked quality. Like we said in the past, these injuries have hampered him, but he's looked so good and assured. We know that he's good on the ball. We know Barton really rates him as a player, and he is a quality player, but it's just been the injuries. But yeah, we can play anywhere, and he's come into that centre back role. And if you wasn't a fan of Rovers and you didn't know, you'd be like, he looks a class centre back. He's been doing that for a few years, and yeah, I think he's been quality really. All credit to him, and yeah, hopefully he can keep fit and keep showing his quality really. But yeah, hopefully no more injuries to any centre backs, because Taylor is the only fit one. Giovanni was brought in as a replacement for Collins, as he expected to leave. To be fair, I don't think that. For me personally, I think we just wanted to strengthen that area even more, and the fact that Giovanni Brown can play anywhere behind the striker. I just think he sort of brought him in for more competition for places really, and the quality that he's shown over the past few years. And yeah, two assists and a goal now, and yeah, I think like Ben saying, hopefully that goal he can start going now. Even to Steve as well, McCormick should start more games. What's the point of bringing him back if he's on the bench most of the time? Yeah, but like you said, he's been given that opportunity. And obviously there is quite a few injuries. We've obviously Ward's out. Obviously Finley was out, but yeah, I think McCormick, whenever I've seen him play this season, he's been spot on. He's like you alluded to, Neil. He's got the energy, he's got the press. He's good on the ball. He gets in the pockets, and yeah, is the last few games he's played, and obviously the mad limbs that he caused at Charlton away, and now he's got took his chance really well, played well, and yeah, what's been your thoughts on Maka? You must be happy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Maka. I think he's brilliant. I think he suits us down to the ground, what he is and what he's about and what he can give us. But with what went on with Maka last season and his body letting him down and not being fit, it's just about managing his load now. This season is going to go on for absolutely ever. There's loads and loads of time for him to play his part in starting games and contributing, just sort of easing him in a little bit now. And he's starting to build it, but he's plenty good enough to play for us, Macquarie. I think he's going to get better and better and better. I don't know. I just think he'll build into the season, but you've got to manage his load. I think Josh Grant's probably played more games than Joe would have liked to. There's a lot of lads out there that are still pretty fragile coming back from last season. You've just got to be careful with them, because before you know it, they're out for 4 months again.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's all about managing, and like you said, Barton probably would have. He probably would have, rested Grant, etc. But like you said, there's literally all of our other defenders. Wilson, Kramer, George Friend are injured, and like you said, he obviously didn't trust. Sort of, I'm not sure if it's not trust, or I just think with Hunt, he has been quality, and the style of play really suits him in it, like how he wants to get forward. We talked about both wing backs basically playing as wingers when we go forward. So yeah, I mean, talk about him. Obviously, I know you already talked about the finish, but yeah, how impressive you've been with Hunt. Obviously, we know what he's about, but from getting the attacking contributions as well, it's just been, yeah, he's just suited us really well, and obviously the play style that we do go with.
I just think he struck up somewhat with Thomas really early, as far as an understanding and the way they both play, and like that relationship got built pretty quickly, to be honest. And they got off to a flyer together down that right hand side. And I mean, I think he was brought in to obviously be able to give Luca a rest. Luca's played a lot of football for his age. You know what I mean, he's played a lot of football, and there's a risk of burning him out, and he's going to start having sort of average and below average performances if you keep playing him every week. So, and the same with Flash, really, on the other side. You know what I mean? They've played a lot of football for fullbacks because we had no cover for him. So now they're getting their opportunity to, build their bodies back up, have that rest. But at the minute, whoever's got the shirt at fullbacks taking their opportunity, and unless they're not fit enough or they're in a red zone with physios that they have to come out, I don't see why you wouldn't play them.
Yeah, I agree. Even into Brett as well. Good professional performance. Second half made Port Vale do all the work. Yeah, completely agree. And Brown's goal top draw. Hopefully, will kick on. Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, just obviously we'll go over now just to talk about players. Obviously Coxey didn't really have a lot to do really. I think Port Vale only had, for all their domination according to Crosby, they only had 2 poor efforts at goal. Obviously the Garrity chance, but yeah, overall I thought he was solid. Talked about Hunt, just looks quality, really suits us, loves to get forward. I mean Taylor, he was quality as well, wasn't he? I've seen a lot of Port Vale fans, they were pretty angry with the fact that they didn't go with a striker. They went with Gavin Massey up front, with pace in behind, But yeah, what was your thoughts on Taylor and Grant really in the 2 centre back roles?
I think they've been good together for a while, them two. Josh Grant, he's played like I said the other week, played centre half for a full season at Plymouth. He just plugs holes, doesn't he, Josh Grant? No matter where he does, no matter where he goes, he does great for us. He's a Rolls Royce of a player to have because he can operate at an 8 or a 9 no matter where you put him. Connor Taylor, I just think your expectations of him is to play brilliant every game. Like there wasn't anyone who wasn't pleased with that deal when it got it done. I think that was probably the standout deal of the summer. Do you know what I mean? That was the one that everyone wanted because you know what he brings you. So, like I said the other week, he's a threat in both boxes. Yeah, he's massive for us, and he's going to continue to be massive for us. And I expect one day we'll get quite a handsome transfer fee for him because at this level, he'd get in pretty much most teams, I think. But as far as an expectation level of when you start a game, you expect him to be brilliant because that's just how he's operated for us. He's great in the air. His recovery runs are brilliant. He wins fouls for us. He's a threat in the other box. He's everything you want from a centre half in this division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, I thought he was class again. It was, great to get some more confidence in the, even most of the season, really, even in the games, say that we lost or we drew, etc., and we've conceded. That's what I'm liking about Rovers this season. It's because we've got more solid players and that we've signed, etc. We've not been really conceding many chances. Even the games, like I said, we lost. We've looked so much better, and I think I seen a stat the other day, about us not giving away many chances to teams. Not many teams are having shots at goal, and that's credit to all the defense. Midfield included as well, and Cox. I think he's been a great addition, and to get the second clean sheet, I think is important. And like you said, we've talked about Vela as well. I thought he's done really, really well at considering he's a winger and a cam. Hopefully, Chelsea don't get annoyed because obviously he's a calm winger and we're playing him at left back. But, he's been quality for us. And like you said, he's basically not playing at a left back anyway because, when we go forward and when we're on the ball, he's basically a winger anyway. So, yeah, happy with him. And, yeah, what was your, we talked about Maka, but what was your thoughts on Bogard and Woods? Obviously, Woods coming back into the side for the injured Finley. What did you make of him?
Yeah, I mean, Bogard gives you loads of legs in the middle. You know what I mean? He can get about the pitch. He's great on the second ball. He's brilliant on the second ball for us. He picks up loads of bits and pieces, and he doesn't try to do anything that he ain't capable of. He don't look to play Hollywood balls when he gets it. He just tidies us up. Woods has been good for us ever since he's come in, to be honest. He hasn't really had to ease in, and he hasn't really had an off game, so to speak. He likes to shorten his game up, gets it, gives it, and just keeps us ticking and moving, He runs like his hamstrings are going to go at any second for some reason. I just watch him run and I just think his hammies look like they're going to go at any second. But as far as being on the ball, I just think he's nice and tidy. His ball retention's good. His short game's really good. And he sort of directs traffic for us, playing championship football most of his career. He sort of sees the picture and he assesses what's going on and he directs traffic for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely agree. Big up to Louis as well, Port Vale fan. He's been a supporter for the channel for quite a while, actually. That'll be the easiest 3 points you get all season. We were well off it. Gas deserved the win. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Vale fans saying that. I think we deserve a bit more credit for the way we played and got the goals at the right time, etc. But yeah, to be fair, I thought before we scored the first goal, I thought Vale looked really good. And they were dangerous. They talked about the new style of play, and maybe if they'd have actually played a striker, they could have done a little bit better. But like you said, it was sort of like having a lot of possession, but not really doing a lot with it. But yeah, Vale fans I've seen a bit frustrated as well with like I talked about earlier on, their manager sort of playing players out of position, etc. But that's fair enough. That's he got that wrong, and we done really well, and to get 7 goals in the last 2 home games, 4 against Wigan, and 3 against Port Vale is really good, to be honest with you. Yeah, and Alicia saying the same thing, and even into Katie as well, saying Oxford will be tough. But absolutely no reason you can't get something if you keep it tight at the back. Yeah, I mean, we'll get on to Oxford very shortly. It's annoying that we haven't got an Oxford fan on. I did ask Jack from the Jack Ward Football Podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe to him anyway. But he was busy this evening, so he couldn't make it. But do go and subscribe to him anyway. He does weekly League One content along with Oxford content as well. But yeah, obviously, we talked about Giovanni Brown Collins as well, but last one is Martin. Like we said, we were, I think a lot of us were shocked, but obviously he was the only other option really to come in and play because obviously the Marquis injury. But yeah, what did you make of him? You talked a little bit about him, but yeah, you sort of expect it anyway. But considering he hasn't played, he played 12 minutes at Peterborough. Before that, he hadn't played since the last day of last season at QPR, but he looks a quality player, doesn't he? And he will be in League One. What did you make of him?
Yeah, like just going off what I said earlier, really. I was amazed to see him start. I was amazed to see him come out second half. I thought he'd have 45-minute top, but like max. But if you look at how he's a smart bloke, you know what I mean? You look at how he manages minutes out there. He didn't do anything he didn't have to do. He didn't run a channel. He didn't go chase a fullback down to win the ball back. He played between the posts. He played with his back to goal. And like I said, I think it was earlier in the week regarding, he reminds me of what Leon brought to us when he came in, looks like he's got 2 more seconds than everybody else when the ball comes to him. He's really comfortable with his back to goal. His ball retention's really good. He's strong. His football IQ is really good with his back to goal. He just gives us a really good platform to play off of. And he's nowhere near fit, but that's just credit to him as being a good senior pro. Managed his minutes really well. only had to do what he needed to do. But he was integral to us winning that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was superb. Yeah, I agree. I thought he was excellent. Even if he hadn't played 90 minutes, and like you said, we were shocked that he played 85. But yeah, he's just class, and he's an absolute unit of a bloke. Had that header, which nearly went in, but it was fairly routine in the end, but got well for that. But like you said, every time it's just something different in it. Like if you're struggling or if you want him to hold up a ball, he'll do it. And yeah, he was excellent, bringing players into play. Two of the times, it was funny as well, that time where he got the foul and he just got straight back up, like went on the floor. That was funny as hell. But yeah, excellent. And yeah, I'm sure again he'll be starting on Saturday. And yeah, I think he's going to be very, very important to us. And even though he might be 35 in November, he's just a quality player. Like you said, he doesn't need to do stuff that he doesn't need to do. Like you said, he doesn't need to run all the time, run the channels. He's just holding it up. He's available there in the box. Two of the times he brought the ball down well for Giovanni Brown to get the ball in, and same for the second goal as well. Woods got it up to him. He sort of made the defender not get it, and then Collins crossed it in. So yeah, a really good performance from him. Ben Darrell saying what a player, Chrissy Martin as well. And also, yeah, even into Jackson as well, up the gas. Katie saying, are you happy with the performances and results? Yeah, definitely. There's a few that it's been a little bit frustrating, but you're going to have those sort of games. Cambridge was really frustrating. I think that was just an off day for us, but you're going to have off days in any league really. Barnsley was annoying because we should have battered him. But apart from that, really, the few home games with Lincoln and Wickham, obviously got a point out of Lincoln, but didn't really create much. But like you said, now players are learning more because after the Chrissy Martin signing, that's 13 signings. Don't think there's many clubs, maybe apart from Portsmouth, that has made as many signings as us. And yeah, it does take time, but the more we've seen, that's 3 wins in the last 4 games now in the league. Winning at Shrewsbury 2-0, beating Wigan 4-1, and obviously getting the really good win, last night. So yeah, and Brett Gass saying Martin's first touch is class. You can already see the difference between them. And yeah, it's just all the time in it with Oxford. It's policing basically with Oxford and stuff. But yeah, obviously getting into Oxford, like I said, we haven't got Oxford fan, which is frustrating. But Neil's got a few mates from Oxford, so he knows a bit. Obviously, I've done a little bit of research. But yeah, what have you? We'll quickly get on to the league table and stuff. We know Rovers are 12th, played 10, won 4, drew 3, lost 3, 15 points. And I believe it's only 3 points from the playoffs, even though it's early doors. I'm not getting too giddy yet, but it's good signs that even though we might not have been at our best, or maybe a few inconsistencies, I think it's still very good to be 3 points behind. But Oxford, they're on fire, second in the league, played 10, won 8, only lost the 2 games. They did actually lose to Port Vale, which was their last loss, 2-1, and Oxford went down to 9 men in that game. But yeah, 24 points there, 9 points ahead of us. What have you made of them so far? They've just started really well, haven't they? Under, I think, Liam Manning, I believe.
Yeah, they've just carried on from where he got them to at the end, last three, maybe 4 games of last season, and then he's got them in for pre-season, put his stamp on what he wants them to be, and they've come out of the traps like flying. They concern me, Oxford. They look brilliant at the minute. They look really good.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, looking at the last games, I mean, it's been pretty mad, really. You look at all the last games there. The last game, they beat Shrewsbury 3-0, or, at home on Tuesday. But, 3 of their goals were very avoidable, Shrewsbury. And then, the game before that, I think it was Exeter. They beat, I think in the last 5 or 6 games, in all comps, one of those being in the EFL Trophy, they scored 3 goals in 5 of the 6 games in the so it's pretty mad. And Yeah, and it's like I told you before we went on, before we started, their last 7 goals, or no, their last 6 goals, sorry, have been scored by defenders. They've actually got Greg Lee, who they signed, I think, on a permanent deal from Ipswich. He was also at Morecambe in the past, who's a left back. But the last 2 games, they've been playing him on the wing, and he's got 3 goals. So it's been pretty mad. And, the last game, against Shrewsbury, they had Finn Stevens, who's on loan from Brentford, who's a very good young right back. He scored, and also Kieran Brown, who's their left back. So it's been pretty mad, really, because Mark Harris, their striker, who's one of their new signings, they signed on a permanent deal from Cardiff. I think he's got three goals in 7 games so far. He only just got back from suspension, so he's back as well. But yeah, sort of, what have you made of their signings as well? They've all done really well. They've got obviously the young keeper from Brighton on loan, Finn Stevens at right back. They've got Ruben Rodriguez, which was one to watch. Obviously, was at Notts County, done bits for them. Like I said, Mark Harris. They've got McKetron. They've got Stanley Mills from Everton. What have you made of their business as well?
Yeah, they've done great business this summer, to be honest, and keeping hold of Brannigan's massive for him as well. He looked to be on the way out for the best part of 3 million at one point, and they've managed to keep hold of him. You can't say nothing against Oxford at the minute. They've come out the blocks rapid. You know what I mean? They're playing really good stuff. They scored in the last 3. They've scored 9, conceded 1. You only beat what's put in front of you. You know what I mean? If you're winning penalties, you're doing well. So, I think they're in a good place, Oxford, and we're gonna have to be at our very, very best to get, to go there and get 3 points. I know we've got sort of like the hoodoo over them at the minute going up there, but this will be the best Oxford side we've faced in a long time.
Yeah. Well, yes, I think it's since 2013. I think big up to Yusuf earlier who put it in the comments. Since 2013, we've got 9 wins and 1 loss at the Kassam. And obviously that 1 loss coming, of course, in the COVID season, where we lost 2-0, of course, that season. What a shambles that was to forget. But yeah, like you said, it doesn't matter, even though we've had a quality record there, winning 9 times out of the last 10. It doesn't mean anything, unless, you're there and you play well and you get, like you said, this, I think this is, I said it on the reaction and I said it, in the title, when I put it on Twitter, this will be, I think, the toughest test. We played Portsmouth, I think, at the right time, opening day. We played Barnsley, who, again, they were favourites to go up. But I think Oxford, like you said, with their form, beating Fleetwood 3-0, Shrewsbury 3-0, their only loss, in the last sort of 7 games coming against Port Vale when Oxford had 9 men. And I mean, style of play, what we can expect. I think if it's, he's going to be Liam Manning, of course, formerly of MK Dons, who done really well there for the first 2 years of obviously being in charge. I can imagine it's a very same style to Rovers, really, sort of getting high up the pitch, playing good football, creating chances, obviously players to watch. I think the main one, is, and everyone will know, he made his 250th appearance the other day. Madly, I didn't realise Brannigan had been there that long, but it's Cameron Brannigan, isn't it? Really, the sort of player that makes him tick, doesn't it?
Yeah, him and McCracken, I think, in that screen, they're gonna look to. It's going to be very difficult for Rovers to have as much of the ball as they have done this season against Oxford, because they're going to look to do exactly the same. They're going to be on high ball retention, quick turnovers, and them two are going to look to get on the ball, and they've got good passing range between them two. They're 2 really gifted midfielders who will sit in that screen. They'll look to create from deep, but they'll look to keep the ball off us for long periods, like we have done to side. So it will be similar. But this will be a real solid test for us going up there and playing against them on Saturday, because they're decent. They're in a good place. They know exactly what their role is, and they just want to keep building on what they've got already, and they'll be full of confidence.
Yeah, and it's two of the informed sides in the last 5. Really, obviously we got it on here. like we said, beat Shrewsbury 3-0, beat Stevenage, who were on fire. Obviously, now they've lost their last 2 games, but they have played Oxford and Bolton. But yeah, beat Stevenage 3-1 away, beat Exeter 3-0 at home, beat Fleetwood 3-0 away, and obviously the other home game, they lost 2-1 to Port Vale, so 12 points out of the 15. Well, obviously, Rovers, on the other hand, are a few points less than that. We've obviously got 10 points out of the last 5 games. Obviously, the draw against Lincoln, the win against Shrewsbury, the win against Wigan, the win against Port Vale, and obviously the loss coming in our last away game. But before that, we have looked really good, away from home, sort of in the last few years, I want to say. Last season, we obviously done better away from home, but yeah, again, like we said, we know it's going to be tough. We know they play a 4-2-3-1. Whether there be a few changes, I don't know. Probably, you've got McEachran. I don't think Josh McEachran has been starting a lot. I think it's that McGuane, the kiddie that used to play for Barcelona, and I think he was at Nottingham Forest. He's there in midfield. Then they, Ruben Rodriguez in the cam role. Then you've got, Edwards as well, who they signed from Ipswich, is another quality player. I don't know if he's fit at the moment, actually, but Greg Lee, a left back playing left winger, scoring 3 in the last 4. He'd be one to watch out for. And obviously, Mark Harris, who's been a quality addition for them. Like I said, come back from suspension on Tuesday after picking up a straight red card against Port Vale. But yeah, we're pretty much going to now go into our starting 11s. Obviously, yeah, Ben Dowell, Chris Martin. I mean, he's already nearly looking like Prime 9, really. He just needs to need a goal to go with it as well. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, if we look at, our starting 11s, I think it's not going to be too much similar. If that, will Finlay be back? I don't know. Just leave a yes or no in the comments if you think it will be the same team or whether Finlay will be back. I don't know. What would you go with, Neil? It's pretty much going to be the same, in it, really, as it was Tuesday.
I don't know, mate, because a lot of them a few of them from Tuesday played Peterborough. You're asking to play 3 in a week. I mean, it just might not be possible. That squad is built to be able to cater for things like this. You know what I mean? If I see Josh Grant start on Saturday, that bloke's a machine. He's got no right to start 3 games in a week, considering where he's come from. But if he does, then all credit to him. But
but the thing is with him, he sort of has to, doesn't he? He has to.
Yeah, but you've got to take the rough with the smooth. You know what I mean? It's all very well saying you've got to play, but what happens if he plays and then you lose him for 3 months? You've got to listen to your medical team. He's got to listen to his body. All he'll have done from Peterborough is recover. He wouldn't have gone on the grass. He can't have done. He's too fragile. Do you know what I mean? They've got to build him and build him and build him. He's been out for absolutely ages. I think Finlay will come in. I think we've just got to bring troops back in, because it's all right sending them out there, but they could be dead after half an hour. They've got through a lot of work this week. So I think it will change up a little bit, to be honest. I think he's going to have to freshen it up, and then after an hour, drag him on. He's got to be smart with his subs again to get us through this week.
Yeah, because obviously this is, we haven't got a game after this for a few weeks, because obviously the international game of international break, obviously Exeter, if you don't know, you obviously would know if you'd be on socials, but that game is now been postponed and going to be rearranged for a Tuesday night at the Mem. But yeah, Ben Darrell saying Finlay will play. Only change I can see Barton making. Could we not recall Conley? I'm not sure. I don't think we can do it now. I think maybe in January. I don't know. So yeah, what would you, talking about then? What would you go for changes wise? Because there ain't loads that we've got on offer. But yeah, what would be your starting team then if you were to make a few changes?
If in a perfect world, I play Grant, I play Vale again, I play Hunt again, I play Azza again, I play Martin again. In a perfect world, and I hope they're fit. I really do, but I'm just really wary of. You could see that side at 11:30 when it comes out, and realise that actually people do need to be rested, and they haven't quite made that starting lineup. But in a perfect world, I'd go Cox in goal, I would play Hunt and Vale back at fullback again, because I think it's the best way to get at Oxford, I think, and to deal with Oxford is to push them back and get at them. I don't think sitting deep and trying to hit them on the break, I think it just plays in their hands of them keeping the ball, retaining the ball, and looking for openings, because you've got to play like Harris, who can drop in, receive it, or he can run away from you. I think he can cause you a load of problems if you let Oxford get on the ball and start playing. So I think pushing them back is the best way to go into Oxford. I'll play Taylor and Grant if they're fit. Again, is centre half. I'll play Bogard and Finley in the screen. I'll play Macca in front of that, with Sinclair and Collins wide of Martin.
So you'd put Giovanni Brown on the bench, and
I think subs are what wins us games. They are what win us games. You know what I mean? We can really push on strong last half hour, 20 minutes in games, the way that we've got a stacked bench.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because like you said, hopefully Evans is back. But yeah, to be fair, I think if you look at Evans, I'd probably put Evans on the bench again. And it's tough. I'd probably go the same really. Cox in goal, Hunt, Grant, Taylor, Vale. I'd do the same as you. I'd bring Finley back in. I like Woods, but I just think Finley offers us that bite. I think you need that bite in midfield against a team like Oxford to sort of get at them, leave a few in there, especially on the Brannigans and the McGuane Finley, Bogard, Macca, and then I'm not sure if I would, basing it on the last few games, I'd probably leave it the same as Tuesday really. Sinclair, he scored there last season. What was it? It was 3-0, wasn't it, last year at Oxford? Was it 3-0 or 3-1?
No, I don't think they scored. I think it was 3-0. Yeah, Hall got a header to make it 3, didn't he?
Yeah. So Sinclair did get a goal in that game. I know it's a different Oxford, but he hasn't started for a while. And like you said, Giovanni Brown again as well is sort of coming back, playing him. But even again, I'd probably leave it the same front three. Chris Martin up front, Collins on the left, and Giovanni on the right. Or maybe Barton could do what Simon Bracey said. Start Evans, broke his class, but then Collins through the middle and Martin on the bench. Maybe that would work. I don't know. But maybe I think that sort of game, I think you do need a Chris Martin to hold it up, personally. So yeah,
it's going to all depend on how all these players are recovered. Like Chris Martin is going to be sore, mate. He is going to be sore going into Saturday if he starts anyway. So if you can get an hour out of Chris Martin on Saturday, you've done well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Martin could cause them problems at the back, saying Ben. But yeah, keep leaving your starting 11s, and obviously if you haven't already, do hit the like button. Obviously we're going to get onto our score predictions in a minute, so get your score predictions in, and keep following. If you haven't already, follow us, the Talking Gas podcast on socials. Obviously it is scrolling down right now, so if you haven't already, do go and follow us on Twitter as well. And keep subscribing. Like I said, 47 away from 6,500, and keep smashing the likes button because they do really help. Apologize that I say that all the time, but it really helps the algorithm of the channel and push it out to more gas heads as well. But Neil, I'll go with you first. Really tough test. For me, I'm looking at Oxford in the last, watching highlights and seeing comments. I've seen they haven't been at it, and they've, a lot of teams have been making mistakes the past two games, although Oxford have been on fire. But I think we can get something. But what's your score prediction and goal scorers for both teams, if you got both teams scoring anyway?
Yeah, I'm pretty concerned about Saturday, to be honest. I think they're a good side, and I think they're well drilled, they're well oiled, and they're in a good place. The problem I have with Rovers at the minute is that for how good we are and our performances have been good, we never seem to. We're not yet backing up one performance with another. You know what I mean? We're like, we play well, and then we have, you know, a pizza cup thing with, you know, West Ham. I know people make of that what it was. I'm just going on the basis of game after game. We never seem to back up one good one, you know what I mean? So we're too indifferent at the minute, but Saturday could be anything. I wouldn't be surprised if we go and win there. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a point. I wouldn't be surprised if we get beat. But with Oxford being how they are at the minute and us being just a little bit too indifferent at the early start, see us, I don't know, getting beat 2-1.
What goal scorers are you going for?
Harris and Murphy for them, and probably, I don't know, maybe Connor Taylor from a set piece.
Connor Taylor from a set piece, yeah. Yusuf saying 3-2 Rovers, Giovanni Brown hat-trick. Alicia saying 2-1 Oxford, so agreeing with you, Neil. Keep getting in your predictions. 47 of you there, so get in all your predictions. For me, it's obviously, it will be tough. It will be tough. Our record there is good. Obviously with a sold out away end. Again, like we've talked about, it's going to be really important. The first goal is going to be really important because Oxford have been scoring the first goal in most of their games. So I think if we can get the first one, I think we can go on and beat them. And I'm going to do opposite to you. I'll say 2-1 Rovers.
Mate, you've got no reason not to be confident. We're playing all right. You know what I mean? We're playing well. We're doing okay. I just feel like they're just a little bit ahead of us in where they are at the minute. And but like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if anything on Saturday. I would not be surprised if we come away from there with 3 points. I won't be shocked. I just feel like it's a proper test for us Saturday. But
yeah, it is. It is.
You've got every reason to be confident because we're not in a bad place at all.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll go 2-1. I'll go 2-1 Rovers. I think Mark Harris will score for Oxford, and I'll say Collins and Chris Martin to get his first goal for the Gas in a 2-1 away win. Let us know. Obviously, a lot of you are putting in your predictions. Of course, if you watch it on the replay, leave your predictions as well in the comments. So we've got Ben Darrell, 3-1 Rovers, Chris Martin, Taylor, and Sinclair off the bench. So very confident there. Obviously, Alicia, like we said, agreed with Neil in the 2-1 home win, and Yusuf 3-2 Rovers. Tom Butler's gone with a 1-1, which would be fantastic. Yeah, definitely would be. A point would be brilliant, but obviously 3 would be even better. But yeah, it is obviously going to be tough. I always predict if we're sort of on good form, and I can see signs of progress and us scoring and creating chances, and I will. Obviously, some people think I say win, obviously, but we have been on good form, and I'm always confident. Obviously, unless it is the COVID season where we were absolutely shambolic, I don't think I predicted us to win any game that season. Orange Joker going for a 0-0. Reckon Cox has his best game of the season. Gaspap saying 2-1 Rovers, so agreeing with me. Away end will drive us on. Yeah, like you said, it's going to be a sellout. Obviously, yeah, I always love Oxford. Obviously, Neil's going to be there as well. I'll be there. And yeah, loads of other gas heads. It's annoying that they've given us less attendance as well. I don't know why they've done that. The last sort of 2 times I think we've went there, because it used to be like 1,800, but now it's like 1,450 or something weird like that.
But they're probably getting better home gates, aren't they?
Nah, even them, they haven't. Their attendance ain't even been that well, considering they're second in the league and scoring like 3 goals a game. It hasn't. No, it hasn't. It's weird. Simon Bracey is saying 3-1 Rovers. Gordo saying Hart says 2-1 Gas. Brown and Collins, but Hez says 0-0. 0-0 would be pretty mad, considering both teams are on good form and scoring goals. Of course, I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, of course, yeah. Obviously, hope Neil's wrong as well. Yabi Sims going 1-0 Rovers, 96th minute winner from Chris Martin. Imagine that. Oh my God, that would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. 1-0 Chrissy Martin winner. Oh wow, 96th minute. I'd take a draw, but got about the boys. Yeah, definitely. Gas Pack, we've always done well. Yeah, we have. We talked about it. 9 wins and 1 loss in the last 10. And we talked about, the one loss coming in the COVID season where we were absolutely shambolic. They've been getting like 8,500 for a team absolutely flying. That's what I mean. Like, considering they're what does their stadium hold? 12,000, 12,500. Considering, second in the league. Like, yeah, you'd think. But yeah, we're going to end it now. Appreciate everyone for the continued support. Like I said, if you haven't already, do leave your predictions, but leave it in the comments. I'll leave timestamps a bit later on, or maybe in the morning, depending. But yeah, appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Hit the like button if you haven't already. If we can get over 50, that'd be class. Do subscribe to the channel. Follow us both on socials and follow our Twitter and our Instagram, Talking Gas Podcast, on socials as well. But yeah, reaction to be out after the game. And yeah, fingers crossed we can get a good result. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and up the gas.